I wonder why we should be thankful for flexibility.
I think, good question. I think for me, like as my flexibility has improved and increased with my yoga practice, my life experience in terms of like, I used to run before I practiced yoga. Then I stopped running and I started practicing yoga. And I remember going for a run and just thinking, goodness, I feel more free, my legs can move. So it has really big, subtle impacts on the way we live life. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes people think that flexibility means touching your toes.
No.
You know, and actually, in everything that we do, you know, you're sitting up straight, being able to sit up straight, and broaden through your chest, being able to grab hold of things, move just by walking. We just need so much flexibility in our lives just to live a good life.
Yeah.
I suppose one of the reasons that I'm such a fan of flexibility is that I did have those few years when I've been practicing yoga quite a long time, but over time my hip joints really just got worn out and I became really inflexible, to the extent that I ended up having to have major surgery to put new implants in there.
Yeah.
And then of course it took time to work back to that. But I'm just so thrilled that I do have hip joint replacements because I am able to live my life well and healthily. You know, and I don't want to be one of those people that's always on a stick bent over.
No.
And can't walk by placing their heel and rolling onto their toes, because, you know, really the way we walk, sit, stand, even the way we sleep helps, it is assisted by how flexible we are.
Totally. And it's almost like we're talking about, so there's this whole flexibility, and I think you're right, like people are like, oh, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible enough. Like that is so not the point of doing yoga. Like when I first started doing yoga, I'm tangenting, but that's all right, we'll get back to the point. Like when I first started doing yoga, I was not flexible enough. Right?
Okay.
You know, there wasn't me leaning over, touching my toes in a forward fold. That was not part of my life experience, right?
Wow.
Yeah, but now, like leaning over, touching my toes is, and the beautiful thing about that is that I can see the progression from me sitting up, thinking, wow, my forward fold is just me sitting up with my legs in front of me, with a strap around my toes, thinking. One day to then I remember like, oh, now I can touch my toes, to then, oh, now I can clasp my hands around my toes like this, to now I can put a block, you know, like, so you actually can see the progression, but that wasn't the point. Rewind. Exactly.
What were you going to say?
Well, the point was that there's the whole flexibility supports your mobility. And that was what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
Is that actually we need our joints to be mobile.
That's right.
And if they stiffen up and we're not mobile, then that's another word for inflexible.
Yeah. And so, just in what you were saying, there's a couple of things, you know. So you made progress.
Totally.
By doing a little bit frequently.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So flexibility is not like, oh, well, I'm going to learn how to cook a beef stroganoff and I'll get the recipe and I'll make it and it will be done. No. So your flexibility is not going to work and change like that. So it's a little bit and making some little progress. And I bet to start with you didn't make much progress at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But it was just actually the commitment to turning up, right?
Yeah. All right. Commit to turning up. Do a little bit every day. I had a yoga teacher that said a little bit the right way.
Yes.
And that has really stuck with me and resonates, a little bit the right way. So when you're sitting on a chair, I have my foot around the wrong way, you know, is it the right height? Are you sitting so that you can lean back and your shoulders are open, or are you hunched over your desk? Because all those little movements that during the day add up to rolled shoulders, sore lower back, tight hamstrings.
And actually the other day I was like working on a desk space that I don't normally work on, and I wasn't really sitting like this, but I kind of was. And it's the undoing of just the few hours of me working like this, to be able, like, I feel it, and it's amazing. You're right, and just a little bit of doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I did that once. So imagine if I did that every single day. But most people are doing this every single day and impeding their own flexibility and mobility.
Yeah. So that brings us to the next thing, is being aware of ourselves and enjoying every moment. Now, you obviously were intensely working on something. Hopefully it was something that brought you joy, but you know, or needed to get finished, and you knew that when you were finished you were happy.
Yeah.
But you've got to, so when you want to improve your flexibility and feel happy and joyful in your body, you have to be aware of yourself.
Yes.
So if you are nipping out to get a coffee or to meet someone else or do something else, take those moments to swing your arms while you're walking. Take decent steps. Notice what you're wearing on your feet.
Yeah.
Have you been outside in bare feet? Because that improves your flexibility. You know, with the little kids, they are often running around bare feet, or different gumboots or different shoes, and all those different textures and movements with your feet really improves your flexibility. So as an adult, if you get a chance to be outside in bare feet, that helps too.
Or even inside and bare feet.
Yes, absolutely true. Alrighty. So I suppose the other thing, another thing about flexibility is that we are talking a lot about muscles.
Yes.
Aren't we? So we know we've got some big, strong muscles holding our arms out, holding our legs up. There we are. You can see my toes. Standing upright, all those big muscles around our spine. And, you know, you might have heard of hamstrings and things like that. But you probably haven't heard about all the little muscles, say the ones that are wrapped around your spine, that really are providing that internal support.
Yeah.
So flexibility is not just about stretching and moving in a gross or big way with your gross muscles, but it's actually being able to support and move those internal muscles. And a really great way of doing that is by breathing.
Yeah.
Who knew?
We love breathing.
So if you think about how you breathe, and over time we invite you to breathe more deeply. Christina's having a wee breath there.
A wee moment.
As you breathe, your diaphragm moves up and down. It's got lots of good benefits, but one of the benefits is that it allows the muscles, the small muscles that are holding all your discs and vertebrae together, allows those muscles to get a wee massage. Plus, of course, as you're breathing in deeply, you're adding more oxygen into your lungs, which is being transferred into your bloodstream. And of course, to repair and to grow muscle, you need to have oxygenated blood.
Yeah.
So by simply having a time that reminds you to breathe more deeply will actually improve your flexibility.
And even just calm your mind and your system, because I just was, while you were talking, I was focusing on breathing deep. I feel so calm.
That's great, Christina.
It's amazing, but that's so simple, isn't it? Yeah.
So sort of about your breath, you know, you've kind of, if you're breathing from your neck to sort of your midpoint of your chest, that's quite a rapid, not calm breath. That's what, you know, if you're watching a scary movie or you're having to walk somewhere in the dark or somebody gives you a fright, you're taking a quick, fast breath and it's all coming into here. Whereas your nervous system knows, as you take a deeper breath down through into your belly, using your diaphragm, that actually sending signals to your brain to calm down. And what's the other thing that happens when you calm down?
You relax.
Because you're not gripping. Your muscles are saying, I don't need to be ready to stand up and run anywhere or get out of the way of the saber-toothed tiger, thinking about our primitive brain.
Yeah.
And so taking a deep breath allows those muscles to go, oh, we're going to be here for a while. I'm safe. I'm okay. I can switch off and have a bit of a relax.
Yes, yes.
Don't have to be holding on quite so tight, and I'll be ready next time we have to get up and move.
Exactly.
Yay.
That's brilliant. Such a simple tip.
Breathe.
Breathe. Deep. Breathe deep.
Breathe deep. You didn't think you were going to get that on Thankful Thursday about flexibility, did you?
No, exactly. Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Breathe deep. And don't think that you have to be flexible to be flexible, because
I think one of my yoga teachers, or I've read it somewhere, said saying you're not flexible enough to do yoga is like saying you're not dirty enough to have a bath.
Yes.
That's the point of a bath, isn't it?
Yeah. Because
you're dirty, you have a bath.
Yes.
Because you're inflexible, you try some yoga.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the other day I was thinking as well, thinking about muscles, we're saying they need lots of oxygenated blood, which comes from your breath.
Yeah.
But they also need lots of water.
Yeah, and 80% of the population's dehydrated. 80%. So we're not drinking enough water, and we're drinking way too much coffee, which actually is a diuretic, which takes the water out of our system. So the body, we're 70% water, including the brain. So water. Let's talk more about water.
Let's talk more about water. So I know people that say when they try and drink more water, they just have to pee more.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that for a while, because actually as you rehydrate your body, your cells will get used to more fluid and water in them. So over time that won't have to happen. But there's another way of getting water.
How would you get water other than drinking
it.
water? Yeah. It's not drinking sodas.
And it's not drinking coffee, because you've said that. And wine? No, it's not.
I find I need lots of water after wine.
All right. So, another simple tip. Breathe well, eat well.
Yes.
Eat well.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about your food, if you're eating fresh fruit and vegetables, that's quite hard to say. Many of them are between 80 and 95% water.
Just like we are.
That's right.
They're a little bit more watery than we are.
Yeah. All right. So if you're eating all those fresh fruits and vegetables, you don't have to be drinking your standard 8 glasses of water a day or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because you're actually getting all those good nutrients and the water as well.
Brilliant.
If you're eating crackers or cake or other processed food, some of that can be as low as 5% water.
Yeah.
So if you've got a choice at morning tea time to have some carrot sticks and some celery and some cucumber, or to have crackers and hummus, say, you might think that's quite healthy, which sometimes, have some of that, but do make sure you have plenty of fresh fruit and vegetables, because that's another way of getting water. Water's useful for your muscles. You need to have your muscles in good shape to be flexible. I know, it just sort of seems like we're being pushed in a certain direction.
To be rigid.
Yeah, no, but life does, if you decide to go with a life that you're not thinking about, it is quite rigid.
It is.
But if you're thinking about living a life that is more natural to our bodies and to the planet, you're eating more fruit and vegetables, you're drinking water, you're taking rest, which we haven't really talked about but we'll need to for flexibility. We've used I suppose we have, because we've talked about breath, haven't we?
Yes.
So we're resting when we're breathing and sitting, and so we're able to actually improve our flexibility through our lifestyle.
Amazing. And then you just add in a little bit of a yoga practice, and then that's it.
Yoga practice, that's right. Again, a little bit the right way.
And it doesn't have to be touching your toes.
No, it can be simply swinging your arms.
Yep.
Standing upright, swinging your arms, moving slowly one side to the other, taking your breath, using your breath. I had a great idea then. It's just floated out of my head.
What about, because there's the whole physical flexibility, and how is that linked to mental flexibility? I know, left-wing question, isn't it? But I guess from a Thankful Thursday perspective, as we become more free in our bodies, and like you said, as we move into a lifestyle that's actually more in alignment with how our great grandparents might have lived, or even our grandparents, in terms of fruit and vegetables, water, breathing properly, moving
a lot more,
being mobile, because their jobs were a lot more physical and mobile and active than our jobs are. Like that flexibility of thinking, because there's that rigidity.
Like I'm too stiff to do yoga.
Yes. Yeah.
In fact, you're telling yourself that, whereas you say, I'm going to practice for 5 minutes every day this week, and I'm going to do swinging my arms, and I'm going to lean over and touch the chair.
Yep.
You have offered yourself the opportunity to change.
Yeah, and that's opening up and your mind getting out of that stuck pattern, isn't it? Of I can't change. This is how it is. This is my way of thinking. All those other things that have happened in the past makes me like this. Yes.
Where actually, you can be how you want to be today.
Totally.
Take a deep breath. Eat fruit and vegetables. Drink water. Move more.
Yeah, exactly. Move more, and it doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be what you think.
No.
Actually, just stop there. I was going to say it doesn't have to be what you think yoga is, but actually it doesn't have to be what you think.
Yes.
You can change your thoughts.
Totally.
And become more flexible in your thinking.
Totally. Yeah.
And we're proud of you for watching and having the opportunity to maybe think and maybe change and maybe be more flexible.
Totally. And it's interesting, right? Because flexibility in yoga, and I love the beautiful Instagram pictures of all the beautiful skinny young people who can do some pretty phenomenal things, like contortionists, really, aren't they? There are some cool. One of my best friends from when I was growing up, she is a contortionist. Like, her body and the things that she does with it are phenomenal. And she puts those pictures on Instagram, and it's great from an inspiration point. But then it also can be limiting as well for people who might think, oh, well, I'll never be able to do that, so I'm not even going to do that, and I'm not even going to try with just the
basics.
The basics.
Of moving well.
Yeah, and that's really all the practice is about, is bringing more mobility into your life, bringing more joy into your life, bringing more freedom into your life, right? And that's the point of the practice, isn't it?
Yeah. To actually transform this moment and the next moment and the next moment.
Yeah. Because
you're living fully in the most beautiful way that you're able to at the moment.
Yeah.
And being happy and joyful.
Yeah. And that does not mean that you need to get your feet touching your ears in a certain pose.
Standing on one leg or whatever it is.
No, exactly. Like, actually, that is not flexibility in my book, although it is flexibility, right?
Although that person is flexible.
Yes.
Isn't it? That's the difference, isn't it?
Yes.
So flexibility is about living your life well.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. I love that.
Flexibility is about living your life well.
Yes. Breathe deep. Eat good fruit and vegetables. Drink water.
Move your body.
Get enough rest.
Sounds like a pretty good recipe for a great life.
Sounds like an amazing recipe for a great life. And maybe one day you'll progress to touching your toes. But if you don't, so what?
Yeah. It's about living your life well.
We love that.
Yeah, that's right. Go forth and live your life well. Be flexible. Take those tips with you, and do leave us a comment if you feel like sharing some of your experience and your journey with us. We'd love to hear.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much.